This chart I'm about to show you is potentially massively disastrous for Bitcoin, but I think that it actually paints a silver lining. So this is a very complicated picture, and I'm going to be painting it all for you in this YouTube video. This is actually something that has never failed Bitcoin, going back by like 5, 6, 7 years, and I think it is massively significant. I'm going to cut to the chase, cut out the bullshit. This could mean that we're dropping down to 20k. I still don't think that's going to happen, but you need to hear me out here. This is a very complicated one, but you're going to be very happy that you sat through it. So if you're excited, do me a favor and smash up the like, subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're new around here as well. But let's get straight into it. This is to do with the long-term Bitcoin chart, where if we look at this on the logarithmic time scale, I'm talking way too fast, on the logarithmic time scale, and zoom out really far and paint the 100-week and 200-week moving average on the chart, we're going to start seeing something very interesting. Take a look at this right here. If I switch this back onto the logarithmic chart, we only get data for the 200-week moving average over here in 2014, and we get data moving back, to 2012 for the 100-week moving average. But for those of you who don't know what this is essentially an average of the past 100 candles on the 100-week moving average and an average of the past 200 candles on the 200-week moving average. For example, if we look at where this data begins and we stretch it back, it goes back by 100 bars or 700 days because we're on the weekly time frame. So you can see that these are, taking an average of every single price throughout this entire time frame gives us this moving average right here at $107. This is very significant because large time frame moving averages like this can be very significant for support in the market. One of the clear ways that I show you this working out is, for example, with the EMA ribbon, something a little bit like this, where we can see that we consistently find really nice bounces off these support levels because these moving averages tend to work so well for the market as support and also for the market as resistance, right? This is one of my favorite ways to analyze the market. But if we take a look at this indicator set up right here with the 100-week and 200-week moving average, what we have here painting that potential situation for a 20k Bitcoin, and I'm going to get to that in just a second, is that generally we can expect support on the 100-week moving average if we fall down into it. And that's what we were able to do down here in about $400 a long time ago, back in 2014, where Bitcoin actually found a little bit of support. I mean, from low to high, it managed to pull quite a nice 60% move off this 100-week moving average. But here's the kicker. Here's what's really important, is that every time consistently, since we've had this data on this chart, at least every single time in Bitcoin's history, when it failed the 100-week moving average, it tested the 200-week and it successfully found support. I cannot tell you how significant that is right now, ladies and gents. When we fail the 100-week moving average, we've consistently found support on the 200-week, and not a little bit of support. Like, I'm talking really strong support. Take a look at this, right? If we manage to bounce off this level on 4 separate occasions, spread out across, wait for it, this is where it gets really impressive, spread out across 270 days, 9 months, we're still using the same area of support. That is massively significant. That tells us a lot about how significant this area of support is. And it also shows us that, look, the 100-week moving average can be really good support. Look at this. Bam, we blow off from here when we find support off the 100-week moving average. But again, if that fails, we can depend on the 200-week. And look at what happens the next time we fall below this level right here. We fall below it when Bitcoin sets its all-time high at 20k up here, falls below 6k down to 3. Look at where it bounces off support. Again, the 200-week moving average coming in clutch for the market, where we fail the 100-week support at about $5,900, but we perfectly bounce off the 200-week moving average, actually twice right here, before then blowing off up to $14,000, giving us a really nice price explosion to the upside. And again, over here, take a look at this. The next time we test the 100-week moving average as support, we actually get a nice bounce up. It's decent. I mean, it's like 7,000 something to 10,000 something, and a similar situation here where we bounce up again. But here's the thing. The moving average fails, and look at what happens for Bitcoin now. We fail the 100-week moving average, and we close the candle at the 200-week moving average. We do wick far below it, and I mean really far below it, but there's 2 things to consider right here. Number one, this was a black swan event. COVID-19 was very scary back in March 2020, and a lot of people were panicking. A lot of things were getting sold off. Even, the S&P 500 itself dropped by like minus 35%, which is absolutely unheard of. It's obscene. And so this is just, you can't really, it's a black swan event. But number two, and much more importantly, this is the weekly time frame we're looking at, and the candle did not close anywhere really significantly below the 200-week moving average. So again, I'm counting this as an area of finding support. And what's really important, in my opinion, is that generally, and actually I'll get to that in just a second, if we take a look at where we are right now, we are still yet to test the 100-week moving average. But if it does fail, because it doesn't have a good success rate of holding, we are looking at potentially falling down to the 200-week moving average. I just wanted to put this on your radar right now. And this 200-week moving average right now, ladies and gents, let me get you the exact price number. This 200-week moving average, oh, this is a lot harder to see than I thought. I forgot how to actually... Oh, it's right here. The 200-week moving average right now is sitting, can you see this number, at $19,600. But, within the next couple of weeks, we'll probably see it trading as high as about $20,300. Really, broadly speaking, showing us that we've got our potential floor in this market. And this is what is so significant, in my opinion, right here. Is we've got a potential floor which has never been broken. Going back 7 years, 6 years, 5 years, we've never ever broken this area, and it lines up with, in my opinion, the single best area of support that Bitcoin has ever had in its lifetime so far, or one of, at $20,000. Why am I saying that? It's a big round number. It is a round number. Any number that ends in a bunch of zeros is going to be psychologically charged for humans in these markets. But, I think even more importantly than that, this was our previous all-time high. Bam, right here. This is where Bitcoin topped out in December of 2017. And again, the moving average right now is sitting at that very same line, which is all to say that if we do fail this moving average right here on the 100-week, dropping down to the 200-week moving average would make quite a bit of sense. Right now, it's worth taking a look at where this sits. This 100-week moving average moving average right now sits at about $32,000. We can drop a little bit below it and still be okay. And so this still allows for my bigger theories that I've been talking about with Bitcoin, where I was saying that actually, we could be looking at dropping down to the very low $30,000 range right around over here. That's more or less where the moving average sits anyway. So I wouldn't be too concerned if Bitcoin did do something like that. But again, I mean, just seeing how it perfectly lines up with all the analysis I've been giving you guys in the past already, to me, this is massively significant, and I wouldn't want to stop paying attention to it right now. I mean, like, this to me indicates that, basically, look, we've got a pretty good area of support. It lines up with a lot of different areas of support that we already have. It just without even mentioning that this is a massively overstretched downtrend right now. I mean, it's just been going on for too far. There's a lot of signs that long term, looking at the big broad picture, this downtrend should be coming to an end now. And I've been saying that for a really long time, that I wouldn't expect this downtrend to drop below 30. If it does drop below 30, I'm seeing a pretty quick, almost instant drop down to 20. I think it would be very quick for that drop, but I don't even think we're going to get there because this downtrend is so overextended. There's a bunch of other signs that I'm not going to go into right now that give us potential indications that the market could be looking at rallying back up again, at least in some significant way, whether it means that we, perhaps just top out at 50K and then continue trending down, or whatever else happens, or that we actually just start blowing up and setting brand new all-time highs. I don't know what the case may be. I can't see the future, but obviously this channel is all about providing probabilities and analysis of those probabilities. That's what trading is. That's what analysis is, right? A lot of people have this false impression that you just rub some fucking crystal ball and you know exactly what's going to happen. And obviously that's not how it works. If it was that simple, everybody and their nan would be rich, but they're not. They're getting screwed over in the market while our yearly members are paying off their fee inside of it. Actually, I should make this clear. This is not common. This actually doesn't happen often at all, but still very impressive. This member over here jumping inside of our yearly plan inside of VIP and then paying off his fee for entering within the first day of joining. Very impressive. If you want to jump inside of VIP, you can do so by following these steps on screen, and free cash on Bybit by signing up using the link in the description down below. I'm not even caffeinated and I don't even know what the deal is right here. I guess I'm just so hyped up by seeing how this analysis lines up perfectly with what we've been talking about on this channel for a really long time. So if that excites you, do me a favor and smash up the likes, because you can tell it's exciting me right now. I was literally sleepy like 2 hours ago, about to go to bed, just going to decide not even to make a video today, a second video even, because we're on the grind. But as soon as I saw these moving average, it really did change things up. But anyway, we bring it back to the longer term Bitcoin chart right here, switch it onto the logarithmic time frame. And again, this is something that I want to make very clear is that, you know, Bitcoin could very well find support of this 100-week moving average and then not even come back down to this area at the 200-week. Eventually, we're probably going to test it. We just naturally do. And one of the key things to keep in mind is that historically, every time Bitcoin fell below its 100-week moving average, it generally fell down to the 200-week very quickly. And actually, I have a chart for this, so let me pull this up for you. Bear with me. Bam, right here, where you can actually see pretty nicely that... oh, what the fuck is that? Hang on. Oh, there we go. You can actually see pretty nicely that, you know, when Bitcoin fell below its 100-week moving average like it did over here, it only took, I mean, only it's fairly large, but it only took 84 days to fall down to the 200-week moving average. And then you can actually get an idea of how long it takes Bitcoin to recover, which is also interesting. But the very next time that it fell below its 100-week moving average and then found support at its 200-week, it took 28 days. And the next time after that, it says 21 days, but I think it was a lot shorter. It might have, I mean, it was only a matter of days, really, wasn't it? We can actually check this. If we look at, this is where the moving average was. It was at 7,200. Let's see when Bitcoin fell below 7,200 on that coronavirus market crash that we had way back in March 2020. It almost feels taboo to even say the date, to be honest with you guys. What's going on with the chart right here? Okay, so we fell below 7,200. This was 7,200. That's where the moving average was on the weekly time frame, and managed to fall down to the 200-week was probably somewhere around here. We did that in 1 day, so not 21 days. This is actually wrong. It took 1 day, and again, you know, if we do manage to fall below this moving average, again, it just confirms the analysis I was already giving you guys. This is what really strengthens analysis, ladies and gents. Is like I said, you know, I mean, we're doing things that essentially, I mean, we're playing probabilities. We want to see what the probabilities are in these markets, and if we're getting multiple different unrelated signs in the market telling us the same thing, like for example, I was mentioning that if we collapse below 30, it's probably going to be a really quick, very, very sharp dip down to 20, and realistically 20 might not even happen. I mean, it can overshoot a little bit, which would massively surprise me. I really don't expect this to happen, but even drop down to 19, but much more likely if we even get there. And like I said, I don't think that's going to happen, but if we even do get there, I would more so expect people to be front running the market and actually buying a lot of Bitcoin at 22 and 21. And so naturally, there's going to be a lot of buying pressure that absorbs the selling pressure before Bitcoin even touches 20K. And we may never even do that. I mean, you know, a very, very important thing that I want to show you right here of how this tends to happen in extreme sell-offs is, I guess this is a good example, is, you know, Bitcoin was crashing down really quickly on this chart down to 3,900, and other charts that bottomed out at 3,600, but you would have expected a round number like 3.5 or 3,000. Alternatively, like right here, when Bitcoin was crashing down very, very low from 6,000 to 3,000, this is in the bear market of 2018, after Bitcoin hit 20K for the first time ever, look at where Bitcoin bottomed out. Let me drop a line right here. This is where Bitcoin bottomed out, $3,164. Not 3,000, not even 3,100. These are people who bought Bitcoin earlier, front running the market, and you can see volume peaking up a little bit as well. There was obviously going to be quite a lot of buy orders for Bitcoin at about $3,000 right over here, because it's a very psychologically charged area of the market. And so naturally, people are going to be thinking that, look, a lot of people are probably trying to buy Bitcoin down here, so I'm going to try and buy Bitcoin $10 higher than them. And then other people thinking the same thing over and over. I want to be $10 earlier than them, and then earlier than them, and so on. And that's why we actually saw a bottom at 3.1 as opposed to 3,000, for example. And very interestingly, if that piques your curiosity, that's also why we didn't see 3,100 a second time around. Because again, people were front running the market. This time people were expecting a bottom at 3.1, like what happened before. Even I was expecting this. And so naturally, a lot of people, and these are only the smart buyers in this market, by the way. I was talking to my connections that, you know, generally tend to have some nice, I don't want to say that, no, that's not the case, but these connections that deal with, I can't say, I'm sorry. I've got to be smart about this. Anyway, good people with good information mentioning that smart people were buying at these levels. And that's what was happening, is it was smart people buying. It wasn't like average guys in their basements that, you know, want to pay for a better college education for their children or anything like that. Like, no, it was actual like institutions that have seen these markets a million times, not the average Joe that's just trying to, you know, get a little bit of extra cash for his family. Unfortunately, that's just the reality of these markets, and that's why I try and stay as objective as possible. And it's fucking difficult, but that's what you need to do in order to be successful in these markets. And you see that people try to front run the market. So very, very important note that, you know, I wouldn't even expect that Bitcoin comes all the way down to this 200-week moving average right here. But of course, if it did, it would be a beautiful, beautiful buy level. And then again, like I said, some really nice support floating around right here anyway. I want to make this point very clear that, you know, with the exception of levels like, say, 21, maybe up to 22 at most, and that's being generous, I don't think Bitcoin would stop crashing anywhere between this 100-week moving average and the 200-week moving average at all. I just think that there would be way too much selling pressure if we lost this support, and it would be quite disastrous. But again, this is support, so I don't want to be bearish prematurely, but the whole objective of this video is just to, you know, play out a little bit of a thought experiment, explore some probabilities, see what could be going on in the market, you know, and just be prepared for it. That's our job as competent analysts and traders. So there you go, guys. I hope you have enjoyed this one. A relatively quick video compared to the normal ones. If you did enjoy, do me a favor and smash up the likes. If you want to jump inside of VIP and see how I've been trading these markets, how I'm going to be navigating them right now in real time, not just Bitcoin, but other altcoins as well. There's a bunch of stuff going on inside of 𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪 VIP. Then click on the first link in the description down below, and then click on the @𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪 button at the bottom of any post inside of 𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪 Gold, and then click on send message. I have no idea where I got all this energy from, honest to God. Very, very surprising. And of course, you already know the deal. If you want some free money, then Bybit is linked in the description down below. And as soon as you sign up and make your first deposit, you're also going to get some free cash deposited into your account as a thank you for using my link right there. So there you go. Have a good one. I'll see you all in the next video tomorrow. Bye-bye.